Following program is rated MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
The show that gives you everything and nothing at all. That's everywhere you don't want to be. It's Ruben, Mo B, and on the ones and twos, AG.
The 5-minute warning.
Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of 5-Minute Warning. As always, my name is Ruben. I'm here today with you. And of course, always with me is my cousin AG.
What's happening, y'all? How you doing?
Man, everything's great. But before we get into that, I'd like to once again thank JTD Creations. Check them out on Facebook. Look up J as in a T and a D Creations on Facebook, LLC. You need a shirt, you need a hat, they got you. They got these nice shirts right here. And of course, they do anything from hoodies, sweatshirts, whatever. If it's a piece of clothing, they probably do it. Not sure about underwear, but I will ask them next time I talk to them. But hey, man, once again, it's another weekend, another show, another whole bunch of craziness in this world, man. But honestly, I have to say, AG, this might be the week that I didn't hear a lot from the White House. I mean, I didn't hear a ton. Maybe
Well, I mean,
because
he was on vacation. He was on vacation, right?
Was he?
I mean, he went to Mar-a-Lago, play golf and whatnot.
Oh, okay. Cool. Sorry, man. I just saw Washington throw an interception. Sad face. But that game's over. All right. So
It just started, man. It's not over.
I know. But yeah, man, it was good that a whole bunch of shit didn't come from Washington this week. You know, people that went back to work. I think the most I've heard about some Washington stuff is like one of my friends worked for the government. He was considered essential. So he's like talking to me because he was pissed off that he pretty much, worked without getting paid. But then, yeah. Then he got his money. Then he shut up. So, like.
Well, I will say money is really important, Ruben. So, I mean, I can understand that being some sort of salve.
Yeah. He was like, man, I worked for 6 weeks for free. I was like, didn't you get your back pay? Yeah, we got that the other day. I mean, you would get. All right, man. Just give him the thumbs up and keep it moving. Moco Cowboy, we're apparently at war with Venezuela. Well, if we are at war with Venezuela, it's going to be short.
That's what we said about Vietnam, sir. That's what we said about the Gulf. That's what we said about Afghanistan once we got involved. We don't need to be picking fights with people that didn't do anything to us. Because what we're trying to do, actually, it's the way I feel about it. Because my wife, kind of put me on to some things. It's like, I feel like we're using this as an excuse to get oil for free and other resources for free.
Of course. But here's the fun thing about all the other stuff, right? Don't we do a lot of that here? And we've been doing it so much.
You're so cute, Ruben.
I mean, I understand. No, I'm using that to basically like I get it. Like,
okay,
I'm
so glad because I was like, I can't believe he's saying this right now.
No, I get it.
Okay,
but the talking points. Well, we've been pumping the most, oils since like, 2003 or whatever bullshit thing they use. And I'm thinking to myself, wait, but hey. We still want to use coal and all the other shit that kills stuff. So, like, whatever. Fuck solar. Why fuck with solar? It's only basically free. Like, Because
I heard what you're saying, but you got to work hard at it. Right now, it's not efficient because we don't work hard at it.
I mean, once again, I understand that. Like I had a conversation with my boy Ron today, and we were talking about guns and shit. And I was like, and then we were talking about, and then Rana hear this or whatever. I don't really care. And we were talking about how my thing is, people don't need the right to be able to take a gun and turn it into a bazooka, basically buy the parts and you can make guns more powerful. Like, we don't need that. And he was like, well, that's my right. That's the fucking problem. That's the problem. Everything's your goddamn right. But there's a right for you not to have that shit. Because if you can sit here and tell me 90% of Americans would handle it properly, maybe I'll think about, hell, I'll give 80% Americans can handle it properly. And he was like, well, there's open carry and open carry. I was like, you're right, man. Where all the open carry places are. And he was like, well, the top three are Suffolk, Chesapeake, and Virginia Beach. And I was like, what do they all have in common? Come on, bring it to me. Bring it to me.
Wait a minute. I thought it was a state thing. I thought the entire state would be.
Yes.
Okay.
It is open carry. But let's be real. I live in Hampton. You live in Hampton.
Sure.
Like, how many motherfuckers walking around with an open carry pistol on their
I don't see it very often, and when I do see it, it's a little jarring. Always jarring. It really is. It's like, damn, that's a real ass gun.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm a grown man. I was like, I saw this dude. He was on a motorcycle. He was looking straight Sons of Anarchy, and I was like, my man had a 9mm. I was like, bruh, for real. But it's
and it is very legal. It is very legal in Virginia to have it because it's also very legal to have a license to not show it. I can't remember the name right now.
Concealed carry.
But I'm just like, why fuck around and go get a license to conceal carry where you just walk around with it on your belt, right?
It's not a lot of incentive, that's for sure.
And then the conversation went into, well, places that the constituents open carry the most have the least I'm sorry, words. Have the least crime and shit. And I was like, okay, let's try this again. Those three places, Suffolk, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach. All right. I was like, hey man, there's open carry in Hampton. How many motherfuckers you see in Hampton open carry? Very little. Right? And then if you do see them, what color? What color are we talking about?
I try not to go there, but
I mean,
usually it's never it's never going to really be a problem from law enforcement if it's a whites only thing. But I have noticed it's a different thing when it's black people.
Exactly.
It's always
not
been
that,
this is not new. This has been
correct.
History in the modern era. When I say the modern era, I mean after civil rights.
Yep.
It's always been a problem for black people to exercise their rights just like white people have always had. And I think that the hottest button besides banging white chicks is weapons. It's like, I think they would rather have us bang white chicks to have a shotgun. I don't understand that, but I mean,
maybe.
But I guess we're always dangerous. We're dangerous, and now that we have guns, we're even more dangerous.
Hey man, we're dangerous in the streets, and we're dangerous in the sheets, baby. That's how we get it done.
That's what the rumor is.
Yeah, but once again, it's like, hey man, we can't. We entrust 16-year-olds being behind the wheel of a car, and look, man, my belief is if you can't parallel park, you can't motherfucking drive. Let's
drive in.
I mean, exactly, right? You shouldn't be behind the wheel of a car if you can't fucking parallel park. And that's the problem. We're willing to give all these motherfuckers guns and shit who can't, or because I was like, look, man, hey, you know what? I even backed down. I was like, if 50% of the people in this country could be cool enough to handle, aka I'm gonna put me a gun together type deal, and everything be safe, I'm cool, man. But we know that ain't the number.
Well, that's a bad mathematical construct, and I'll tell you why. Because, like my dad always told me, the people who gonna use guns in a really, really bad way are gonna find a way. The people, when you just say a blanket 50 or a blanket 90 or a blanket 80, it's like you're talking about like people that would never do these things.
Well, and I said that to prove a point.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
With him, because I was like, yo, man, like, hey, man, for every one of you who gets all these things and is able to, I feel confident enough that you having a rifle in your hand, like, is cool. There's another 100 of your ass out there that I don't trust for shit. So, like, and then the other thing that kind of bothered me that I didn't bring it up, but it kind of bothered me, man. He never called them guns, man. He called them weapons. Motherfucker, it is a gun. When you use it in a way that is not supposed to be used, then it becomes a weapon. Those are two different things. And, I was like, hey, man, I mean, look, I'm not sitting here and saying that guns are bad, because I'm not. I believe that everybody should have a gun. Hey, I don't want nobody taking guns and shit like that. However, if your ass crazy, you shouldn't have a gun. If your ass been in jail, I mean, they take that shit away from you. Even to the point, man, if you ever feel like you need to exact revenge on somebody, maybe you need to think twice about that gun situation. But hey, man, when it's all said and done, we got a whole bunch of punk ass bitches out here who get their feelings hurt somewhere around their life, and they go shoot up schools and shit. You don't go take care of the motherfucker who fucked with you. You take care of everybody else. Which, to me, I get there's collateral damage, but I don't necessarily understand. Hey, man, that girl just said no on a date with you. She don't deserve to die, bruh. Like, what the fuck we doing? Like, those kids in Connecticut didn't do shit to your ass. But, man, they treated me bad when I was in elementary school, so I'm going to go shoot elementary. What kind of dumbass shit is that? I mean, please tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong. I'm not saying that
you're wrong, but you're first of all, you're arguing with somebody that is never going to see your logic, which I think is a waste of time. Second, it's like the Second Amendment right makes Ron not wrong. And once you sew that into the fabric of a country in which you've lived in your entire life, then add on the fact that you're Black, which makes you want to, have your rights, double because you ain't ever had none. And it's like, plus, I guess I'm going to presume that he enjoys, gun ownership and all the things that go with it. It's like
he's hunting again. He's hunting.
Okay. Well, it's
that's
like
fine.
you are never ever going to get through to someone like that.
Well, no,
so
it's not.
you're not wrong, and he's not wrong either. But at the same time, I feel like he's talking about a certain demographic in which I'm talking about. You're talking about a demographic that's like that 1% that makes all the rest of them look bad. And I think there's a real answer in between the two. Like I said, that's why I wanted you to fix your numbers.
Well, and then, I was just like, so, what's up with the NRA? And I was like, the NRA is the reason why we will never have stricter gun control laws. But because every motherfucker out here who believes that that's my goddamn right, those people make sure that it's their goddamn right. And just because you have the right, you do not have the right for motherfuckers coming back and being like, hey, man, you don't deserve that shit. Like, and once again, I get it. Like, should there be stricter gun laws? Yes. Should we be going to people's houses and taking their guns? Fuck no. Should you have a rocket launcher in your house? Probably not. Shit like that. Like, if you got grenades, that's just a little illegal.
But I'm telling you, the country is very mature. Once in America, once you tell somebody you can't do something, then there's all sorts of problems.
Correct. But my only thing that I was saying was like, hey man, you know, he's like, well, hunting this allows me to shoot faster. And I was just like, I mean, are you hunting for the sport, or are you hunting because you need food? Because those are two different motherfucking things.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. Like I said, man, I work with a very right-leaning crowd.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And so I hear what they're saying.
Don't take my guns.
But you're never going to be able to be rational with a childlike person ever, because they're very smart individuals. But when you mention certain triggers, they become 5-10 years old. This is like,
oh yeah, definitely.
I'm going to take away your PlayStation because you did thus and so. That's not fair. Okay. And that is like 10 out of 10 the response. And I'm like, bruh, I'm not saying I'm going to take your guns for real. I'm just letting you know that these are the criteria you need to meet, which you already do. That you can have one. If you don't meet them, you can't have a gun. You just can't. But you can't say anything prohibitive. I'm sorry. You can't say anything prohibitive around these people without them responding in a way in which is irrational. And I'm just like, that's why when the gun thing comes up, unless I'm in a like-minded group, and even in leaning left too, it's like, if I'm not in a group of people who can't leave extremism to the side for a minute, it's not something I'm going to talk about. Because for every Ron, there's a tree hugger somewhere who doesn't believe in guns at all. And I'm like, okay. It's like, you shouldn't be killing animals, no way. And it's just like, well, those leather shoes you got on says, oh. So again, it's just, I don't look, man. I am learning as I get older. When people don't agree with you, I believe you should listen, because at the very least you'll learn something. But yes, there's a threshold for these types of things. And when somebody hits that threshold with me, it's like, we're never going to get along anyway. I'm never going to see you again. You don't pay my rent. You don't do anything for me. So why am I even talking to you? So it's like, whatever. And that's why I feel like, the Rons and the tree huggers of the world, it's like, I can't talk to those people. Not at all. And that's okay. That's okay. Because like I said before, I don't mind guns. If I were a hunter, I would definitely be bow oriented, but I don't mind guns at all. But it's like, it just, when it becomes irrational, when I can't say like I said, I can't say anything prohibitive. It's like, if I can't say, hey man, if you have a psychiatric history, then no, you can't have a gun.
Yeah.
And it's like, all they heard was taking away my guns. They didn't hear anything else. They didn't hear I have a history of this behavior, or that behavior, or this behavior and that behavior, which would lead me to violent tendencies. They didn't hear that part. They heard the part where it says, you can't have no guns. I said, bro, I'm not. Lord Jesus. I'm not, man. I'm just not. I'm not saying we got to be England either, where you're not allowed to have a gun, period. There are no questions. There are just no questions. It's like, if you have a gun, you're already going to jail. You going to jail already. I'm like, bro, keep your guns. The Second Amendment right is the only amendment. It's the only part of the Bill of Rights, because it's not an amendment. It was always there. Yeah. The only part of the Bill of Rights that I promise you 100% is never going anywhere. Taking
right to bear arms? Hell no.
Taking people's right to vote, or taking people's right to live and exist. Those rights and the amendments have a good chance of going away. But having a gun in this country, that's never going away. Why are you even shouting at me right now? So I'm like, bruh, really? But yes, really. That's why I don't waste my time with people like Ron or the tree huggers that wear leather shoes. I don't waste my time with these people. So that's all I'm saying. Because in the middle of all of this is a correct answer, but you're asking human beings to have discipline.
Exactly.
You're asking human beings to be altruistic and think about something and someone and some other group of people other than themselves. That doesn't usually go well, especially in this country where we've taken the Constitution and made it something that's turned into something that's like, I guess narcissism is the word, where it's just like, God-given. No, God never did any of these things, but that's what we're saying. So I don't know, man. It is what it is.
Yeah. So a couple comments up here. Yeah, I saw that. Mocha Capital hit you with the thanks for exercising your right to bear arms, Moby, with your sleeveless shirt on. Also, shout out to Brent. Common sense gun control is a scary thing for some politicians. Yeah. The best way to get gun control is for black and brown folks to buy more guns. I mean, sure. So I'm not gonna lie, man. Part of me, because I have so much of a different thought about the whole gun situation. I've had this conversation many times with my older brother, who we know is an avid gun person and stuff like that. And so, like, I'm not gonna lie, man. There's a part of me that likes trolling people with guns and stuff, who like guns and want to talk about rights and shit. Because I'm just kind of like, I understand that. And I'm not saying it's not your right to have it. I'm just saying, as people, we probably fucking shouldn't have it. We shouldn't have a gun that allows you to shoot more than the gun was built to shoot. Like, what are we doing? And just stuff like that, man.
Well, you go back into telling me I can't do something.
Exactly.
Man.
Hey, man, I understand.
I want my slaves. You can't tell me I can't have slaves. I miss the time so we could hang black people from trees and not go to jail. And you think I'm saying this to be petty or funny, but I'm quoting people that actually said this and put it on wax.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it always comes back to the same thing. It's not necessarily the lynching that they like. It's not necessarily the slavery that they like. But what they like the most is
having
it's my right to do it.
Yep. Just like Thomas Jefferson loved his black women.
Hey, man.
And
I ain't mad at him for that, but damn, give a woman some rights while you're writing the piece of paper that would give it to her, but you didn't do it, man.
Yeah,
you didn't do it.
Well, you don't know that.
He might have disappointing dude.
He might have wrote it on her face.
Pearl necklaces don't count on the Constitution. Just letting you know.
In all fairness, man, he wasn't trying to mess up his supply of vagina either.
No, I hear what you're saying, but
I'm just saying, like, most dudes don't vote for not having sex.
But see, here's my thing. If he,
granted, I know it's rape, and I'm not advocating that. I'm just simply saying you're asking a dude who has a regular supply of vagina at his will to be like, you know what, I should do this the right way.
But here's the thing, man. Even if he would have done the right thing, after that, what black woman ain't gonna give you the cootie? I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, but then she got choices, and
what choices?
You might have to listen to her, or she might be able to say no or stop. Ain't nobody got time for that. Jefferson won't trying to hear that shit.
I can't even defend that. Sadly, I can't defend. That does change.
From the immortal words of Eazy-E, man, bitch said, "Stop, no, and don't." I said, "Bitch."
I'm just saying, like, look, I know from somebody who wants to have a high moral compass that none of that sounds good. But I also could put myself in that position and be like, yeah, most people don't like to like take away their own cheat code. That's just not what most people do. Like,
you're not wrong.
Well, as prolific as he was with Sally Hemings, man. I feel like she was giving it up because she wanted to give it up at some point. They had multiple children and all the things, and it's like he keyed on her. I feel like they kind of had a relationship for real.
I mean, but shit, let's just be real. Why wouldn't she?
That's my whole point. But
I got to sleep in the house.
But at the same time, what Mo said is very true. I'm telling you, man, like no's and I can'ts and all the things, bruh, that matters. And when you're
bro, I can end the sentence like, yo, bro, he had to listen. He would have just had to listen, period.
And actually, he had a wife, so he had enough of that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, hey, look, man. Ain't nobody got time for back and forth. Like,
especially when you gotta go home to it.
Oh, yeah, like, hey, bro, I get enough of that. So, you know what I'm saying? I need you to say yes or nothing. That's it. Those are your only options. Yes or nothing.
You can say nothing. I didn't know that was a choice.
I mean, I don't think it was at the beginning, but it became one.
I don't know. Like I said, I feel like the reason why she's so central in this whole battle in Charlottesville is because she actually wanted to give it up and they had a relationship. I just really feel that way.
I mean, look, I'm just saying, like, for me to wonder why diabolical, evil-natured person continued to be diabolical and evil-natured when it benefited him, it's not really a stretch to me. It's like, yeah, it'd have been more abnormal if he was like, you know what? Fuck this shit, man. These chicks, these black people should have choices, man.
I can always count on you, sir. Because that's hilarious. But it's true. It's true. Because if I'm being honest, if I thought about it, I was a white slave owner, or if I was a slave owner in a situation where reversed, either way, and I could just, and my wife couldn't do nothing, because again, you have to understand that wives had no rights at all. I could tip. I didn't even have to tip. I said, hey, I'm gonna go get this and whatever. And what are you gonna do about it? The only thing you could do was to be cruel to the slaves because they out there getting your man dick. Yeah, that's the only thing you could do. And so honestly, you couldn't do anything. So I'm telling my wife, like, I'm gonna go out to the back and I'll be back tomorrow or sometime.
I mean, think about it in the context of like, yo, just times changes things. Like the way we were parented was different than the way our parents were parented. And just think about how many times you've been around some kids and you wanted to just slap the shit out of them and say, shut the F up. But you can't do that no more. But you have thought it. So as a white slave owner, like you was like, man, it was so much easier when I could just hit this motherfucker and tell him to do what I said. Doesn't make you a good person, but like it makes you honest.
I mean, it solves your problem.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, man, like I'm not surprised by any historical reference of white people being just fucking awful to people of color, because it was like, hey, you could do it.
Yeah.
Okay, my wife just told me this. I'm going to repeat this. Sally Hemings' mother was Thomas Jefferson's wife's half sister because her dad was a hoe too.
See, and we doing too much of the hoe facts right now. Like I'm just saying, like, hey,
but you are a hoe.
Yeah, but sometimes information is just I mean, does it matter? How did that benefit?
Does it matter that I mention it, or does it matter that I don't mention it? Still exists.
Hey, look, man, researching historical hoe references is like just I'm not able to keep up. Like it's
like saying I really don't know if slavery really happened back then.
Look, all thing I'm saying is
everybody was a hoe. They have choices.
The apple does not fall far from the tree, and the tree is being a white male back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, that's
you out there tipping, you out there creeping, you out there hoeing. Either way, but
is it really hoeing when you don't have choices?
What do you mean when you don't have choices? I'm talking about the men. I'm not talking about the women. You got a choice to keep your dick in your pants.
But why do that when you don't have to?
That make you a hoe. I mean, you can do what you want.
Does it really?
Yes. Actually, it makes you a philanderer also. You're out there cheating on your wife. You're
it makes
cheating
you a man of power.
I don't care what it is. You're still cheating on your wife.
I better say, y'all kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And so we're arguing over semantics here. Like
We are.
I mean, because clearly marriage didn't mean shit back in the day. Because dudes were still fucking other chicks.
Okay, so apparently Jefferson wasn't a hoe. His wife died young, and that's when he started it with Sally. But his wife's father did the same thing. But he was a hoe.
What?
I mean,
I've learned too much.
None of this really matters because the construct is in place.
Yeah,
And the only thing I'm saying is, if you out there tipping, either way, if you married, you're just a philanderer. If you're not married, you straight home. Either way. But like Mo said, it's like when you have the power to do certain things, you're not gonna give up the cheat code because you have an endless supply of cootie at your disposal. I don't know a whole lot of men that aren't at least gonna think about it.
I mean, that power is the root of almost every negative thing that men do. Power and ego. And that's like you were having that discussion with yourself about the gun stuff with Ron, Ruben. And I never have that discussion with Ron because I realized that the gun is a symbol of power for him. It has not like he does like hunting. You know what I'm saying? He loves hunting, but when he's talking about his guns, he ain't ever really talking about in the context of hunting unless he's talking about a particular event he's doing. But he loves to talk about going to the shooting range, shooting. That is power. And look, I've known that man for a long time. What I will never get in the way of is that man's blackness and that man's power. Those are two things that you cannot compete with: his blackness and his power.
Sometimes that's the same thing.
A lot of times it correlates. I don't know if it's the same thing, but a lot of time it does correlate. But hey, look, man, we can agree to disagree on. Look, me and Ron, I've got 30 years of history with Ron, and we agree to disagree all the time. That's actually what makes our dynamic so great because we actually agree on more than we disagree with, but we don't focus on that disagree stuff because we just like, hey, I realize I ain't gonna change you, you ain't gonna change me. Let's just move on. Let's just move on.
So I think I need to be fair. So I'm not gonna lie. Like at we start having a conversation on text, and then he calls me, and then we started talking. And it just got to a point where I just felt like trolling.
Nah, see,
what made you troll?
I'm just saying, AG, I can tell you exactly what happened, and I don't even know what happened. But let me tell you, because I know both of the individuals involved, I'm gonna tell you what happened. So Ruben's defense for anything that he disagrees with is to basically kind of tune it out and just say it's stupid.
Yeah.
And Ron's defense to get Ruben to see his side is to overload him with information that Ruben is not going to even want to consider receiving. So he probably tried to educate you on guns. He probably started talking about manufacturers of stuff. He probably started talking about the history of this and why it is important for all these things. And you was just like, stupid. That's all you kept hearing was, it's stupid. It's stupid. And he's going to keep trying to educate you, and you're going to keep choosing ignorance. Not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying he's giving you information that you don't give a fuck about. So, like, because it's not going to change your opinion. So basically, you had this dude educating you and you trying to show him that I don't want to know anything about the shit you talking about. And then we have this song and dance that goes on where both of y'all end up leaving the conversation upset. And I just end up going, what the fuck were y'all doing? Y'all just wasted everybody's motherfucking time. So did I pretty much nail it, Ruben?
So you're about 85%. Definitely on the Ron shit. Definitely on the Ron shit. Well, see, here's the thing. Like, and you know, I love it when I'm in control, but people don't know I'm in control, right? So, like, as you may know, Moby, I used to teach kids how to not kill themselves with guns. You know, I did that shit for 4 years. I know quite a bit about guns. I have a brother who probably seemingly has a shit ton of guns. Like, I've been around this my whole life. So like I do have a lot of information. I know a lot of shit. But I don't talk about what I fucking know because then you can't have conversations like that. Because you're right. You know, I started down one path, then I got he then decided that I didn't know shit about guns and he needed to educate me about guns. And I allowed that to happen because sometimes it's just better to sit back and just allow some shit to happen. Now, a lot of shit that he was talking to me about had not much to do with what we were talking about, but it was his emotions, of course. And yes, you are 100% right on this fact. I didn't give a damn about what he was talking about. I didn't say it was stupid, but I was just like, I mean, because my thing was, look, you know, I think that, you know, you having to put all these extra things on your gun, if you're shooting deer and shit for sport, or you shooting it to survive. If you're shooting it to survive, whatever. But if you're shooting it for sport, that shit ain't fair. You know,
and I'm gonna call timeout on the play real quick because see, and that's why you have those conversations that I say are wasted conversations because you just started that whole statement with "I think" in the fucking conversation because that's your thought, and both of y'all have conversations with the other person, and you're not gonna admit to doing it, but you have conversations trying to get the other person to get on your side. And that is a wasted conversation. That is why me and Ron never have those conversations because I am perfectly okay with just being like, you're going to think that, I'm going to think this, and ain't none of this got anything to do with how me and you move. So, fuck we talking about?
I mean, but here's the thing. When it's all said and done, I already know that. Like, hey,
so you admitted that you voluntarily wasted both of y'all's time. Because you could have ended the conversation. Hey, Ron, we not going to see how to own this.
But where's the fun in that?
Hey, bro, you know what I find fun? Having my fucking time. You know what I'm saying? As somebody who is constantly time challenged, like, hey, bro, like if you got time to waste like that about shit that don't matter, that ain't gonna move the needle on nothing in your life, then hey, more power to you, my brother. Like, hey, I don't have the time to dedicate to trolling like that, or to engage in non-fruitful conversations.
And you're right.
That don't even entertain me because you don't even seem entertained by the conversation. You're like, I was trolling, but you don't seem entertained by it. It ain't like you was happy about the trolling result. Like, look, my daughter, Katie, she's a troll, but I can tell she enjoys that shit. She be smiling. She's having the time of her fucking life when she's trolling somebody. You seem frustrated sometimes when you're trolling. It's like the troll shouldn't be frustrated.
Well, no, I would say so. Like, there are times where I am legitimately like feeling whatever because yes, I'm in it 100%. Today I just wasn't. And then, hey man, you want the greatest way for me to check out is when I start getting facts about shit I don't care about. And at that point in time, you're right, Moby. I was out, but then I was like, let's see how far we can go with this shit. And then that's when the trolling kicked in.
Hey, Ruben, I'm gonna say something that you're gonna hate. And AG, tell me if I'm wrong. You sound so much like a MAGA guy. Like you start throwing facts that I don't care about. Like, yeah. You sound so much like one.
Hey,
winner and still champion.
I mean,
that's all I'm saying.
I'm not one.
Hey,
I know you're not.
This motherfucker start talking about facts and shit.
Right.
Man, ain't nobody got time for some facts.
It wasn't even like facts. It was like, you know, well, the gun was made in blah. Oh god damn it!
Which sounds like a fact.
I mean,
Now,
But it had nothing to do
agree-
with the
I was
conversation.
about to say, I agree with you that fact shouldn't necessarily influence your opinion of the subject. But for you to just be for you to just be like, you know what, he was saying facts, ain't nobody got time for that shit. Don't be trying to make me learn shit.
I mean, I got enough useless knowledge as it is. I don't need any more. Like, I'm way good on that useless knowledge shit.
Willful ignorance is amazing.
It is, man. I advise you to get some of that sometime. Not all the time.
No,
Just every once in a
absolutely, but
while.
I won't even say that as an insult. Like ignorance is bliss about a lot of things. Now, being ignorant about everything is stupid, but sometimes, man, choosing to be ignorant about something is, hey, that is a blessing. Like, look, every married guy who has a wife that likes to give them more information about a story than they actually care to know, we would always choose ignorance. Like, bro, like just don't tell us nothing. We good.
I told you that bitch was crazy.
Like, yo, bro, give me hard line facts about what happened. I don't need the background. I don't need the setting. I don't need character development in the story. Just tell me why the fuck you mad right now. And tell me what I can do to get you to not talk.
To not talk. God damn.
You're asking a lot, sir. That's two things. You're asking a lot.
He didn't say not be mad anymore, just not talk. Wow.
Here's the thing, because as a guy, I realize if somebody's upset, man or woman, if somebody's upset, there's usually nothing that you can do to make them not upset anymore. But as somebody who knows I can't fix your problem, and you're going to get mad if I try to fix your problem, because then you're going to tell me I don't need you to fix my problem. I just wanted you to listen and support me. Now, the only thing I can get to that gives me peace is silence. So how can I get there as quick as possible?
Not by saying that.
Yeah.
Trust me, AG, I know better than to say that, but I'm saying if I could have an actual translator tell exactly what's going on, it's like, that is interesting. How can I get you to shut up?
Oh, actually, you can ask White America. They do kind of a good job.
I guess.
I'm just saying they're pretty good at it. Their success rate is fairly high.
Oh my God. But yeah. Now, man, at this point in time in life, like sometimes I just like to, especially when people have no idea what I know, because I don't necessarily share that part of my life with everybody. I was kind of like, hey, I was like, you know who my brother is, right? What makes you think I don't know anything from him?
Hey, look, man, he does what most guys in their masculine energy do, which is he tried to combat your feelings with logic, facts, and solid information. And you, in your emotional feeling about what y'all were talking about, was like, I don't give a fuck about none of that. I feel how I feel, and my feelings are valid. And both of you are right, which is why both of you wasted a lot of fucking time for no goddamn reason about an issue that is not going to change tomorrow. Guns ain't going nowhere, and people who love their guns, they're going to keep loving them guns.
Of course.
And, they are waiting for shit to hit the fan, because they're just like, hey, they always talk about the right to bear arms, not understanding that was about war and tyrannical government and stuff. So they're waiting for that apocalyptic event when shit hits the fan, and they can be like, look, motherfucker, I got guns now. I mean, I'm just saying, like, every gun collector is secretly waiting for that moment when all chaos takes place and they got guns. And they waiting for motherfuckers like you, the niggas without guns. But oh, you want some shit now because you ain't got a gun, and I got all the guns. Unfortunately, they don't realize that so many motherfuckers have guns that even when shit hits the fan, like people having guns is just like people. It's like having a cell phone now. Like people just got them. And the worst part about the gun shit is like you never know who got them. You never know who got them or where they at. Like the people who show their guns and talk about their guns, those ain't even the motherfuckers I'm worried about. I'm worried about the motherfuckers that I don't know that got a whole fucking locker somewhere in their house with guns that they don't never talk about. They got all different types of ammo and shit. That's the motherfucker I'm worried about. Ron, I ain't worried about Ron. Ron gonna hunt some shit and he gonna say, get off my property. I can deal with that dude. The motherfucking assassin that's got some John Wick shit in his garage that don't never talk about that shit. That's the person that I'm worried about.
I mean, because it was hilarious, man. Because, like, you know, even me and my brother had that conversation, and I looked at him, and I was like, "Look, man, I need to ask you this because I need to see where you're at." And he's like, "What?" And I was like, "Hey, man, just because I don't go hunting, just because I don't feel like I need to shoot a gun every 5 seconds, do you just think I have no idea what I'm doing if I get any type of piece of armament in my hand?" And he looks at me and he stopped. He stopped for a second. He was like, "Well, I think you do." And I was like, "Okay." I just need to, I mean, because I was just like, I mean, you've known me for my whole life. And you act like I ain't never touched a rifle in my life. I've never shot it ever. Just because I don't going around shooting squirrels and all this other shit, that does not mean I am inefficient with a gun, a bow and arrow, a spear, wherever the fuck it is we need.
I'm going to challenge and say that does mean you're not efficient with it, because just because you have done it, does it mean that you are still skilled to do it? Because, hey, look, man, I played basketball. Don't mean if you put me on the court right now and tell me go do some shit that it's going to look the same. Like, I might be able to figure it out. I got the baseline. My mind knows what I'm supposed to do, but there's something about practicing something that does, you know, keep your skill up. So, yes, Ruben, I'm pretty sure you'll figure it out. But I'm pretty sure the motherfucker that shoots all the time is going to be a little bit more efficient with that gun than you will.
Maybe.
No, there's not a maybe. There's a reason motherfuckers train on shit like that.
Hold on, man. Hold on. There are a whole bunch of motherfuckers who shoot all the time and they can't hit shit. I mean, let's just be real. Just like there's a lot of motherfuckers who play basketball all the time and they can't hit the backside of a barn. But I guarantee, when was the last time you rode a bike? If there's a bike and you need to ride that bitch, you own that motherfucker, right?
And I'm gonna tell you that I'm not gonna be as talented at it as my teenage daughter
who
do it all the time. That's exactly what I'm saying. That was the whole point. I wasn't saying you weren't gonna be able to do it. I'm simply stating you will not be as efficient as somebody who routinely does it. That's the law. That's just fucking common sense.
I mean, okay.
And your ego with this is fucking mind-boggling. So you mean to think that you are going to be just as skilled as somebody who fucking like does Navy SEAL training with the gun all the time?
I don't remember ever saying that though.
That's exactly what I just said. I didn't say you would be inequipped to do it. I didn't say you would be incapable of doing it. I said you wouldn't be as efficient as somebody who does it all the time. I don't understand why your ego won't allow you to just be like, yeah, you're right. I'll still figure it out. Cool. I'll go with you and you'll figure it out, but you ain't going to be as good at it as somebody who does it all the time.
I don't remember answering that statement though. I never said I would be or wouldn't be.
I'm glad it's on.
I mean, AG, you're here. Did I say yes, I would be? AG, did I say yes, I would be?
Ruben, what he's trying to tell you is you won't admit to the fact that you would be at the very least really, really rusty. You're not going to be as good as your brother is. Your brother just shot something an hour ago. So what he's saying is, why don't you he's not saying that you wouldn't figure it out faster than me because I hadn't shot a gun since I was 8.
But I didn't say
wait
anything.
Wait a minute. But what he is saying is you won't admit to the fact that you wouldn't be very good in a gunfight. You get yourself killed because you would react too slowly. That's what he's saying. And in fact, I know for a fact you don't, because the last time y'all went around about this or went around about anything, that's exactly what you do. You won't say, yeah, you're right. You're not good at that. So yes, that's what's going on.
Re-listen to this afterwards and be like, damn, he did kind of say that, and I just kind of blew past it because I was still trying to talk about how I could be able to do it. And I never stated you wouldn't be able to do it. I just said you wouldn't be as efficient or proficient as somebody who does it all the time. That's it. I wasn't saying you were inequipped. Just you ain't the person I'm going to in an apocalypse. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go find Ron. Like, I'm gonna go find your brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you, nah, man, you'll figure it out. But yeah, you ain't the person I'm gonna go to. Like, you the person that's changed your oil before, but you ain't a mechanic. You know what I'm saying? Like, if my car's messing up, I ain't coming to you.
Well, I gotta ask you, why are you engaging when you just explained why not to engage?
Because this triggered me.
Good answer, sir. Because I'm sitting here going, why is he doing something he said not to do?
Like, he triggered himself. That's what I'm trying. I'm like, you triggered yourself. I didn't do anything. I just sat here. I made a statement, and you were just like,
yeah, you're not that innocent, sir.
I never said I was. Hold on.
I
never said I was innocent.
You said you didn't.
Kind of did, though.
You made a lot of disingenuous statements, but that's cool.
You made a lot of
disingenuous statements.
What? What did I say?
But you know what, Ruben? In your defense, you're consistent as fuck about that. So once again, just like I stated the other week, I'm the problem because you've been consistent in this, and I had the same consistent response to it. So I'm the problem, not you.
Okay. I'm lost over here, and I'll just stay lost. It's fine.
It's fine. Both of y'all, look, man. Look, just can we move on to what we actually need to be talking about? Because nothing good is going to come of this.
See? Look at Moco Cowboy. That's what I'm saying. Thank you, Moco Cowboy. That's exactly what I said.
But that's literally what I said.
That's not. Okay. Can we move on to something else? I'm not doing this with you. I understand exactly what's going on. Nothing, sir. Nothing. Okay.
I mean,
because you're right. Yes, dear. I have learned my lesson. Yes, dear. We're supposed to be talking about errors of music. That's what we're doing.
It's gonna be awesome when y'all listen back to this. Y'all be like, Ruben didn't do anything this time. I will be delivered. So, yes, let's talk about it. The question this week was very simple. All right? Because we used to talk about music. We haven't talked about music in a while. Now, we do talk about music that we like, but I think deep down, there's different music that we really, really like that we talk about, but we don't really talk about. So, the question this week was, what decade of music do you like the most? And why? So, AG.
You know, it was a hard question, but then I was like, I'm not going to spend any time thinking about it for real. I'm just going to answer the question. So if I had to, if I really, really thought about it, I would be like from 85 to 95. That's pretty good. Now, my perspective is generally rock and roll. And, I just want to make everybody aware of that. But I still say there are a lot of things in music in general during that time period that were very cool.
So, when did the power ballads start? Or were you not a power ballad fan? Like, is that middle 80s, or I thought it was the beginning of the 80s?
Well,
I consider power ballads like the 80s
But see, that's where
80
I started to simplify the question, because power ballads were always around.
Yeah, I was about to say it's kind of always around, but the 80s has a lot of memorable ones.
Well, the production changed.
Yeah.
Everything was really epic in the 80s, man. If you listen to a lot of the power ballads that Mo B would listen to, they differ from power ballads in the 70s that were like straight rock and roll. Because a lot of rock bands had it got to the point to where record companies needed you to make a power ballad. So back in the 70s, like Dream On was probably the biggest one that I can think of that was a rock ballad. But the production on it was so much different than, say, what's a good one? Total Eclipse of the Heart?
Dream On?
Dream On by Aerosmith.
Thank you.
They were vastly different in production.
Was the target audience different? Oh, not the target audience. What the audience was doing while listening to the music, because I feel like what happened in the 80s, and it's probably just because my own view is like, I feel like every 80s ballad was like made to drive in your T-top down the coastline blasting, where I felt like the 70s, when they had their ballads, it was like a festival type thing. So it wanted to have a sound of being at a festival, where the 60s was like kind of a run on with the 70s. But I feel like where they thought their target audience would be listening to the music changed, because the power ballads in the 80s, if you listen to it in your car, them power ballads in the 80s slap in the sound system. Like they slap in a sound system.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And I feel like there's two things. I agree with what you're saying, but they would have, if treated differently, they would have almost slapped that hard. But certain things from an equipment and technology standpoint had changed in those 15 years, those 20 years, that you can't get the Aerosmith Dream On sound that, you just can't get that sound. And at that point in the 70s, they couldn't get the sound that you're talking about. That's the first thing. The second thing is, from a rock and roll standpoint, it's like they discovered that this wasn't all 18 to 35-year-old males listening to this. So in the way they found out was the power ballad. They were like, whoa, wait a minute, where are these women coming from? And then they figured out what you said. What did you just say? In your car, T-tops down or T-tops off.
Every montage, every
right.
action movie montage.
But the thing you forgot to say was with your girl.
Oh yeah.
And that's
or thinking about your girl.
Well, you got to have the girl in it. And that was the thing that they didn't realize. And it's like, we need to kind of exploit this audience that we never exploited before. And so that has a lot to do with it too. That's why I said, it's just like, man, when Ozzy Osbourne and Lita Ford have a power ballad, then things have changed, because Black Sabbath never had to have a power ballad. Ozzy never had to have one, and Lita Ford never had to have one. When they wrote that, it changed everything. So I'm sitting here going, Close My Eyes Forever changed everything in 88. And at that point, everybody had to have one. But again, like I said, man, production in the 80s and early 90s was vastly different than production in the 70s. Some of that had to do with songwriting, but a lot of it had to do with technology and equipment in general. So that kind of changed things. That kind of changed things in a big, big way.
So, like, I'm stuck right now because, along with my geography, clearly my music time frames are jacked up, because I didn't realize that Dream On came out in like 73. Like, I'm kind of losing it, because
when did you think that came out?
I mean, so Aerosmith had his resurgence, I guess, or maybe not resurgence. My first thought of Aerosmith is like the late 80s.
That's a lot of people, but y'all ain't old enough to know they were around before.
I mean,
because they did really well.
Yeah.
and they were like writing really good songs. Then they discovered drugs, and then they were terrible songs. Then Joe Perry left, and they replaced him with somebody still on drugs, mind you. And then they weren't doing anything. They weren't writing anything good for a long time. And then they came out with a record in like 85. I want to say like 85, which everybody was sober, but they had been gone so long, and the record wasn't like, like hitting. It didn't slap. But then in 87, when Permanent Vacation came out, bruh, that changed everything.
So is 87 where Janie's Got a Gun came out? Or is that early 90s?
I think that was on Pump, and I think that was early 90s. That was the second record in the resurgence, which was Pump. So, you have what I'm saying is you have a whole group of people that discovered Aerosmith like it's their first time, and it wasn't, because like in 1980, when like Aerosmith, like the difference between Aerosmith and you and Dale is Dale is your older brother, and he's gonna know. Like I would be your older brother, and I would know. And those few years is just enough. So, because Aerosmith had two careers. They had one in the early 70s that fizzled out by like 77, 78. Then they went through what they went through. They came out with a record in 85, which was kind of, I mean, if you're an Aerosmith fan, it was dope. But if you weren't,
Toys in the Attic.
No, Toys in the Attic was actually good. I'm talking about in the early mid 80s. They came out with a record. They had a song. They had a single on it called "Let the Music Do the Talking," and I thought that was really good. But I liked Aerosmith. But if you didn't like Aerosmith in particular, it was all right. But the record they came out after that, bruh, they broke it wide open. They created a whole nother career.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the discography, because first of all, Google has it not in chronological order, so I'm looking around to make sure.
And actually, before I move on from Aerosmith in particular, I got to shout out Russell Simmons, because if it hadn't been for
Run DMC
redoing Walk This Way, we're not talking about Aerosmith anymore.
That's 87, right?
I think so. I'm not sure. I feel like it was maybe 85 or 86, but it's still the same time period. The bottom line is, if it weren't for that particular record, we're not talking about Aerosmith in a second breath. We're just not. Because now you've created an audience that's just not about white people that were 86. Teenagers in the 70s that went to these shows and saw this whole thing rise and fall. Now you're talking about black people that's like, these white boys funky, and they were. And so it's just like you've created a new audience, a younger audience, and a diverse audience all at the same time for one record. And after that, that's when their second career started.
Yeah, because that's the first time I heard of Aerosmith is when they did the Run DMC thing, not knowing that I'd heard somewhere in that lifetime. I have heard Dream On, but I wasn't musically conscious enough to understand.
You probably heard a lot of Aerosmith songs and didn't know who you were listening to. It's like a lot of people have heard Back in the Saddle. A lot of people have probably heard they've heard Dream On. It's another single out there that most people have heard, because their songs were licensed a lot too. And see, the next thing that happened was in like the mid 90s was when Armageddon came out.
Yep.
And then you have a whole nother audience, Mo B's age, that's hearing this Aerosmith, and then they going backwards to figure out who they are. Because
that was me. I was definitely going backwards then.
That was crazy.
Because I think that single, might have had another record or two to come out, but they started getting older. They weren't writing any new songs, because that single in Armageddon changed everything for them yet again. Because they still license that song. That song is everywhere, even now. So
that's one of the biggest soundtrack songs I could think of. Like I'm sure there are other songs that are just as big soundtrack songs, but like that's definitely up there. If there's a top 25 list of most like recognizable soundtrack songs, it's got to be up there.
Right.
I mean, between that and the movie itself actually being fucking decent.
Well, they drove
back
each other.
then.
They
Yeah.
drove each other.
And I
'Cause
mean,
I
you had a
remember
lot
I
of
was-
stars in that movie.
They did.
You know,
So and again, anyway, like I said, and it's not like a decade, but I think hair metal was at its height and at its best in the mid 80s. And then by the time that fizzled out, grunge was coming in and a lot of other music was evolving. And then a lot of other music was coming back. Like, even though, like I always say that, you know, black music is more successful when white people are doing it, because when I see a boy band, I'm not really thinking about, you know, NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. My first thought is like New Edition. That's my first thought. But I do realize, like, when, just like back in the 60s, when black people would make a record, they always had either nobody on the record cover or some white folks doing something random on the record cover. So it's like white folks doing black music is much more, you know, commercial, because you're keeping white people comfortable. So when the whole boy band thing came back, it's like, I get it. I'm not gonna sit here and be mad like I don't get it. I do get it. So that was happening then too. You know, that lasted all the way to the turn of the century for real. So, you know, 85 to 95 is where I kind of sit. It's not an exact decade, but it is 10 years.
okay. Where do you stand on Nirvana? That was a question from Moko.
That was a big change. That was that was Nirvana
Musical
was
landscape.
except for Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
That was the thing, because the Alice in Chains came out on the tail end of hair metal.
Mm-hmm.
And they had long hair and they were kind of had that vibe, even though they weren't part of that. But when Nirvana hit, there were people like, you know, like 2 years before or a year before or 6 months beforehand, signed $1 million deals. When that record dropped, all that shit dried up. If you used hairspray every day, you weren't getting a record deal. If you came in looking like you shopped at Goodwill, we'll sign you to a $10 million deal today.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, that was earned, because in the Nirvana and everything that came out of Seattle and everything that came out of the world after the fact for about 3 years was legit. It was legit. It was for real. The same thing hair metal used to be at its height in 85. You know, I mean, I'm not even trying to front. They were writing better songs. They used different tones. They used different equipment because they were using equipment they could afford. And they weren't changing it when they got a big deal. They just brought in that crappy crap that they had, and they wrote great songs. Period. And then again, like cycles do, they got to the point they weren't real anymore, and that went away and changed into something else. But Nirvana changed it all, bro. Real. Nirvana changed it all. Because I remember hearing the radio sound a certain way one day, then hearing Nirvana, and then it was never the same. I feel like it happened within a 7-day period.
Nirvana, Pearl Jam, others.
That's what I was going to say. Pearl Jam came right after them and smacked me in the face with Even Flow. I never looked back after that. I was like,
Jeremy spoken. Yesterday.
So again, it's just one of those things, man. There are points in history, anybody's history, doesn't matter what history it is, where there's a pivot. And if you were alive for it, you remember. And it was like, good gravy. But yeah, Nirvana was huge as far as changing things.
Yeah. Nirvana, I want to say, and I could be wrong on this, I feel like Nirvana was the first CD to have hidden tracks in it.
When you say hidden tracks, what does that mean?
So like tracks that weren't listed on the where you list the tracks, the names of the tracks. Nirvana had 2 tracks that if you just let the CD play for like another 20 minutes in silence, 2 other tracks came up on it.
Oh,
I think they were the first ones to do that. it was crazy. It was insane because
Was
I was
that
listening.
was one of those tracks? You know, you're right. I think you know you're right was a hidden track up there, and then they performed it on Unplugged when they did the Unplugged thing.
Yeah, that and I think what's the other one? I want to say Territory Pissings, but I don't think that's it. It's another track, but yeah, you had to let it play for like 20 minutes. It just kept playing, like it didn't stop. The CD didn't stop. It was like the fuck. And I remember hanging out with a friend, and we were listening to it, and we just went on about our business. Like, oh, okay, whatever. And next thing you know, goddamn more music started playing. It was like, what the fuck? Like, because literally it was like 20 minutes long. It was crazy, you know. So yeah, they had, far as I know, they're the first. That was the first CD to have hidden tracks on it. Now there might have been somebody that I didn't know that had it, but as far as what I know, yes, they were the first, which even made that shit even more dope because it almost felt like they gave you 2 extra songs for the price of what you paid for that CD. You know.
The other thing too is Dave Matthews. That changed a lot.
Dave Matthews.
That Dave Matthews band, they changed a lot. They changed things from a distribution standpoint.
Yes, definitely.
Distributing for free, type thing, and the music itself. They were kind of a pivot too. So while grunge was on an uphill climb, Dave Matthews changed things in another way. So you had 2 or 3 different things going on in music that was like, wow. Industry changed a lot in 91, man. For real. It really did in a big, big way.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
OB.
Hey man, I feel like it'd be too easy for me to just be like 90s. But I want to put a comment that Brent said because it's actually true. I think I've said similar things, but like the music you listen to, I feel like it's just a sweet spot age. Like the music that you fall in love with from like the age of like 15 to like 25, I feel like that's the music you're like in love with forever. And so easily it's the 90s for me, and kind of AG kind of tackled it too because so many different things musically were happening in the 90s. Like there's so many monumental shifts in like different genres of music that happened in the 90s. I think an easier question for me to answer is like, what genre of music do I like listening to when I'm in certain moods? Because that's an easier one for me than what genre of or what decade of music is like the best. But I gotta go with the 90s. Between R&B, there were so many shifts in R&B in the 90s too. You went to that's when we first started getting, as AG said, the boy band thing got big. Then you had the rebel boy bands. Then you had the clean R&B, and then somewhere in the mid to late 90s, clean R&B kind of shifted. That's when that shift started to begin. And then with hip hop, I mean, if you're a hip hop fan, everything is 90s. Everything. West Coast starts. Southern rap starts. New York gets a kind of a resurrection because I mean New York owned it. West Coast got big. Then Nas happened. I'll point straight to Nas. Then Nas happened, and then New York hip hop scene changed. Then you got Southern hip hop. So I just like the 90s because so many different things were happening, and it's actually what I pity my kids for, not because they don't have a 90s, because I'm like, I get it. Like every adult feels like their genre of music or the music they listen to was the best. But I just feel for them because the creativity that existed in music in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, in the early 2000s, I just don't see it anymore. Like the creativity, everything is so mainstream and algorithm driven that I don't feel like we get a 90s decade can't happen anymore. You can't get a decade where so many different things are popular. Now it's almost like it's got to be this or it's got to be that. So the best part about the 90s was like whatever you liked musically, there was something that shifted in that genre that never remained the same afterwards. So yeah, that's why I say the 90s. It was hard because I'm really a huge fan of 80s music. Like I told you, I love the power ballads. However, there wasn't as much stuff in the 80s that I'd gravitate to. I'm a sucker for the 80s power ballads, but I'm not a huge 80s rap guy. I mean, there's a couple big things. Like, I mean, I was an LL fan. I mean, I can appreciate a lot of artists now that I didn't when I was a kid because I was like a really young kid. I didn't appreciate some of the stuff, but yeah, man, like it's got to be 90s, and I'll down that hill. 90s is the most creative decade in music.
Awesome, cool. So, as I answered my own question, I really had to think about it because I've said numerous times, diehard NWA guy, no question. I was with them with the posse and through the whole thing, you know. Yes, I listen to boy bands. I'm a big pop music guy. But when I really came down to it and what I listen to most versus what I can never hit the fast forward button on. Unfortunately, I think I would never say this ever, but I'm going to say it now. Fucking Diddy, man. Diddy did some shit that really has affected me in my music taste. When he started bringing up old shit.
Please speed that sentence up. When you say Diddy did some things that affected me, please speed that up, bro. I need you to wrap it up, B.
This guy. But when he started bringing back, you know, remixes and stuff like that, when it's all said and done, honestly, man, I found that my love for 70s music is really, really strong. And not just any type of 70s music. Like, I'm living in between, like, I would probably say 73, the year I was born, and probably 83. So I'm kind of going to take what AG did. Because, man, I love fucking happy music. I love dance music. I fucking do. It's just what it is. And there are certain parts of it that, yo, man, some of that dance music, some of that Stereo 54 shit, bro, that shit is brilliant. And it just, I like happy fucking music, man. And I just remember as a kid just dancing a lot. I'm not dancing now, but honestly, one of my favorite movies is fucking Roll Bounce, man, because it brought me back to really what I love. I mean, the movie itself is whatever. It's okay. But when they're in the fucking roller skating ring, dancing to all those songs, man, that shit is what, like, really gets me happy. Like, you know, the whole freak with the freak out, you know, the whole thing. And like, you know, even to, you know, he's the greatest dancer, like all that shit. I love that shit. And then, as Moby said earlier, a lot of the music from the late 90s to some of it today pulls from some of that. And then, of course,
90s was all about pulling from that. 90s was all about, because that's when the sample was life. You know, you got all the biggest producers. What they just did was go into the crates for records and pull samples from 70s bangers.
I mean, and we talk about Earth, Wind, and Fire, probably one of the greatest groups ever. Period. I'm not saying they're number one because everybody's got their own list, but as far as a group that made great fucking music, Earth, Wind, and Fire, if they're not in your top 5, I don't know what the fuck we're doing. I just don't. You know, like we're at the birthday party 2 weeks ago, man, and KC and the Sunshine Band. That's the way I like it. That was our music that told us to get up and go get food. So each table had like a song, and when they played that song, that means you get to go food, which is actually fucking brilliant to tell people to go eat. I thought that was very brilliant. But like, Mom was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me, Mom?" Like, I almost cursed. I was like, "This is when you know what? I know the song." I was like, "I know the song." And so when it came on, all right, we gotta go eat. And I was the youngest person at my table. And I'm thinking to myself, y'all don't know this song? Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. But, you know, it's just stuff like that, man. That's when music was just so fucking happy. And all people wanted to do was dance and have a good fucking time. And, yo, not saying that there's not music out there that's not like that now. But that's where the shit truly came from, man. You know? I didn't used to like the Studio 54 shit. Then I started looking at it. And I was like, you know, this music's kind of eclectic. And I'm kind of feeling it. You know? Even fucking Dancing Queen by ABBA. I mean, God Bless America. It's slow and shit, but it makes you feel good. So, you know, yeah. You know, that's as far as where I currently live now. I think for me, that's where my heart is in that year range.
Your heart from 73 to 83?
Yeah. Because, man, that's, to me, that's some of the, regardless of any time, man, if I'm listening to my shit and that shit pops up, I turn it up and I sit back and I'm driving and I'm fucking singing and all this shit, you know? And it's just, regardless of how I feel, that shit makes me feel good. And so I like a whole bunch of shit. I'm very eclectic in what I like and all that stuff. But I feel like a lot of my derivative comes from that. Because when it's all said and done, I just want to be a happy motherfucker. And I appreciate being happy. You know? Yes, I love Nirvana. I think Nirvana is great. But I mean, you know, if you're going to tell me, hey man, would you like to listen to Smells Like Teen Spirit? Or would you like to listen to September by Earth, Wind, and Fire? September every day, baby. Without question. You know? So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah, Moco Cowboy. We've done the Spotify thing a couple times. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what that happens. Tomorrow is December, and they usually drop that shit. And my Spotify Wrapped is always weird because I always find old shit that I listen to.
AG was 85 to 95. You 73 to 83. And I just said 90s, but if we do in a 10-year window, I'd probably go 89 to 99. And I know that sounds oddly specific. Does it say 89? But it's like, that's right when the transition in a lot of music was happening. Like, because 89, I was like 6, 7. Yeah. So that's when I discovered De La Soul. That's when like me, myself, and I was out. You know, yeah. So that's Bobby Brown. You know what I'm saying? When I was in Savannah, Georgia, my cousin was like huge Bobby Brown because like he was like, I say it, he was like the first real nigga in R&B. Like that's and to
not wrong.
To my hood family, they was like, hey, this nigga like us. You know what
my prerogative. Do what I wanted to.
So yeah, so that transition 89, and then you know you cap it off with for the 199 2000. Like Juvenile happens right then in 99. So 89 to 99, it's like that's the perfect window for me. All the musical transitions in the hip hop genre and R&B genre that I love happen 89 to 99.
And in 91, your most favorite song ever came out. H-Town Knocking Them Boots.
I gotta give you one. That way to bring it home, Ruben. It is
6
that
months
time
later.
of year. It is that
6 months
time of year.
later, at Christmas came out. So, yeah.
On Uncle Luke's album. Uncle Luke Christmas album. Fucking who was in the studio talking to Luke and was like, you know what the streets want, nigga? They want an Uncle Luke Christmas album, dog. I'm telling you, man. Hey, look. I know you got the bitches ass shaking in the summertime, but it's the holidays, man. How we gonna bring them the correct joy if you're not making a Christmas album, dog? And Uncle Luke was like, "Fuck it, I'll take the money."
You know, the more. God damn it.
And then how lazy was that to just, hey, this song was a hit for us, so we gonna do the same as that song for your Christmas album, but we just gonna say at Christmas in the hook.
They did change like 3 verses.
They changed the hook. They just changed the verse. But
the shit
how
was still
lazy
fucking
was
terrible.
that? How lazy was that? It was like, hey man, we got a hit, bro, and we don't fuck with what works. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this shit worked.
Body rocking, knocking them boots. At Christmas.
It was like they was the algorithm before the algorithm was a thing. They was just like, hey, look, nigga, this shit worked. So why are we gonna try to reinvent it? Like we gonna do this shit again at Christmas.
Think about it this way: they were Mariah Carey before Mariah Carey came out all out.
But see, at least she made a Christmas song. They was just like, Uncle Luke was like, I need a Christmas song. They was like, hey, we ain't got one of them, but we got this song that was a banger. And he was like, well, shit, nigga, you better say some Christmas shit in there. All right, we can do that.
Wow, the laziest remanufactured Christmas song ever. Hey, G, what's on your mind, man? I'm so sorry.
Man, this big beautiful bill has already struck me. I was minding my own business. I got a letter from my insurance, and I'm really bad at reading mail, I really am. But my wife is not. She reads all the mail. She was like, do you know they are trying to drop me by making the criteria so narrow that I'll be disqualified from your policy? I was like, what are you talking about? Man, she broke it all the way down. I was like, they out here trying to kill people. Only thing I'm saying is, number one, read your mail. Don't be me. Number two, your insurance some kind of way, even, and this is talking to people that thought they were immune like I did because you have a company policy. This is going to affect you, whether they start making criteria really narrow to where you have to drop dependents, whether it goes up in price or both or everything in between. I just want y'all to realize that the game has changed. Now, it always blows my mind. I wasn't really knowingly alive at this point, even though I was alive, but I didn't really understand what was going on. But insurance used to be a not-for-profit industry in the mid-70s until the mid-70s. And when that changed, it changed everything. And so now it's changing again fundamentally. And this bill is not. We all knew it wasn't trying to help nobody for real, but this gave them the cheat code. Read your mail, be prepared, because this may affect you, even for people who have policies that are, employer driven. Be ready. This means wives, kids, whoever's on your policy, husbands, sometimes it's, flipping around because, couples generally choose which is best. So again, be aware. Be aware. So that's all. That's what's on my mind. Just a PSA for y'all.
Word. Thanks, sir. Mo B, man, what's on your mind?
Man, it's not super different than what AG's talking about, man. Like that fucking big beautiful bill. Yeah, man. So kind of on the same lines of insurance and stuff, man. Like, look, man, 2025 has been an adventurous medical journey for me. That's what I'll say. That's code for I've been sick a lot, but it's been an adventurous medical journey, and to hear people who supported the current regime of president that's in there and then be shocked that, as AG has stated several times, that he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do, but now seem like they're playing victim, like, because now it's affecting them. Like, I guess nobody realized that when he said he wanted to cut costs and help out rich people, they didn't realize that they was one of them broke niggas that won't go get help. And I get it, you know, because the term broke nigga can confuse you if you're a poor white person in middle America. But no, we talking to you too, nigga. Like, you broke nigga too. and at the end of the day, he don't really F with you. So yeah, man, like, it's amazing how in just 1 year, man, this has felt like the longest medical year of my life. And then just looking at politics, which something that if you'd have told me 5 or 6 years I would ever talk about politics, I'd be like, shut the fuck up. I don't care about none of that shit. But politics has changed so much. And just the landscape of acceptable behavior has changed so much. Like, I never thought I'd be like, man, I miss it when these rich white people lied to me more. Because, like, he been up here just telling the truth, and because he's telling the truth, it's allowing everybody else in the country to tell the truth. And I'm realizing that the truth is a lot of these bitches are stupid. And I don't mean like the people in politics are stupid, because some of them are, but no, I mean, like, most people really aren't equipped to vote because we don't really know what's going on. And I say that as somebody who I would put myself in that category as well, because we are so dependent on media and other people telling us what's happening in politics, and so little of our information comes from our own actual knowledge of what's going on, that it's almost making me wonder, why did it take so long for somebody to realize, if I can just fucking create the media narrative, then I can control everybody. I get it, the Constitution was supposed to be designed so that wouldn't happen, but I mean, hey, the Constitution apparently is subjective now that the orange person is president. So yeah, man, like, it's just been really frustrating to think about my year, because it's getting towards the end of the year where I don't do the New Year resolution thing, but I always do the whole, let's process how this year went. What am I trying to move forward towards next year? And all I did this year was feel more frustrated about life than I've ever been, for a lot of reasons that have nothing to do with me. It's the first year of my life where I feel like I've stressed out about things that truly I have nothing to do with. I've always tried to not waste so much stress energy on things that I truly can't control. But in 2025, it's kind of hard to do that now when you're constantly being thrown all these scary outcomes that are inevitable. And I hate saying inevitable, it make it sound like I'm being super negative, but yeah, man, shit's getting worse. And I'm not saying it's gonna be worse forever, but I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel this year like I have in many years past. So what's on my mind is, man, I gotta regroup in these last couple of weeks in 2025, so I can keep my pessimism in 2025, and I can adopt some of the naive, hopeful ignorance that my counterpart Ruben loves to exude. I need that shit, bro. I need it, and honestly, Ruben, it sounds like I just threw you like a diss, but no, man, one of your greatest qualities, man, is like, bro, you are always hopeful, even when you're talking about shit that you don't like. You just have a hopeful outlook on things, man. And I be low key jealous when you have so much hope for things and you're such a glass half full type person. I'd be like, hey man, it's a lot of water missing from that glass, because that's just how I think. It's like it's a lot of water missing, and you like, no, it's half full. I'm like, no, nigga, it's a lot of water ain't there no more. Like, so yeah, man, I'm hoping some of your positive energy can rub off on me in 2026, because I don't need no more negative shit. Because I've had my fair share of negative in 2025, but bright side of 2025, I have really, really embraced letting motherfuckers help me. And I'm lucky to have a significant other that really, really goes out of her way to try to help me, even though I go out of my way to always act like I don't need help. So yeah, man. So that's my positive thing. But yeah, what's on my mind is, man, I'm trying to get some more hope for 2026. I need some of that. I need some of that Barack Obama energy for 2026.
Yes, we can.
Ah, man. Josie and the Pussycats, man. Josie and the Pussycats. That. Who would think a movie that came out in 2001 would be so important in 2025? They tried to tell us back then. We didn't pay attention. Well, some of us didn't. I paid attention. Fuck that. So, you know, I don't know. I'm ready for 2025 to be over. However, I will say that with the whole foot situation and the whole toe situation, sometimes that shit's a blessing in disguise, man. You know, I got a 6-week vacation from work, bro. Never in life have I been gone away from my job that I have for 6 weeks. Never. Now, it is 6 weeks that, in the grand scheme of things, I don't know if the price was too high or was too low or was just right, but there was a price paid for that. But I'm not exactly like sad about it. I think that, you know, comes, you know, when you have problems that happen to you, there's a time for growth. And my body said, motherfucker, you've been going too hard, too fast, too long. I'm going to shut your ass down for 6 weeks. And it's a hard, like, it took me a long time to look at it like that. Because what I'm not saying is, hey, everybody, you don't want to be at work, cut off your little toe. I ain't saying that shit. Don't do that. Don't do that. Or anything like that, by that matter. Fuck that. But all I'm saying is, yeah, man, for the last 50 years, man, I've been riding strong. I don't stop. I keep it pushing. And for 6 weeks, I literally had to shut the fuck down. And I don't think I've ever really expressed it, but like, it has allowed me to really rethink a lot of what I'm doing in this world. And I'm not saying I'm happy that I fucking lost my little toe, because I'm not. What I will say is, you know, as Moby has nicely said, you know, glass half full over here. Shit could have been worse. It could have been my whole foot. You know? It could have been both feet. You know? And I'm gonna leave everybody with this. So this is also part of the conversation I had with Ron today. And I was like, Ron, because we were talking about some other shit with him. that I won't disclose. But I was like, Ron, you know, when you think you have a bad day, think about Stevie Wonder. He's like, what? Stevie Wonder's been blind his whole life. What does he jerk off to? And I leave that there. I mean, you go ahead and laugh, Bo B. Go ahead. I mean, you can't braille a booty. I mean, I'm just saying, like, as bad as I got it, I know if I can't see tomorrow, I at least know in here what I like looks like. And so, hey man, you can think that's fucked up. You can think what you want. But you know I'm not wrong. And with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for listening to the show today. Whether you listen to us live or you listen to us on the podcast version, we appreciate you. Also like to thank JTD Creations. Please check them out. JTD Creations LLC on Facebook. They make these nice little shirts. They make hats. I mean, whatever you need done, they can get it done. And it's really, really inexpensive. We're going to do this every Sunday. 9 p.m. until we get up out of this motherfucker. So we appreciate you sharing your time with us. And I'd like to thank Moby and AG for sharing the time as well. Tell a friend, tell an enemy, just tell somebody about us. Hey, man, we like to drop little nuggets, whether it be knocking in boots at Christmas or whether it be what does Stevie Wonder think about when he jerks? It's a very good question. Maybe one day. I ain't never gonna answer to that. I'm not even gonna lie. So, like, hey, man, it is what it is. But we're gonna do this next Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as we always do it, hey, we love y'all, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace, love, hair grease, soul, and do.
Email us at 5minutewarning19@gmail.com. And also leave comments on Facebook and Twitch. Search 5 Minute Warning. Contact us on Twitter at AG_FMW podcast, at Newsman25, at FMW 2019. Contact us on Instagram, Moby 5 Minute Warning, AG_5 Minute Warning, Newsman25. You can listen to the podcast at Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Thank you for listening. This has been another episode of
The 5 Minute Warning.